Hey, superhero deep divers. This is Jason with Superhero Deep Dive. I have a special episode. I'm not going to do my normal podcast this week. This week, I am actually going to be talking to a gentleman I met in Bowling Green. He is the creator of a comic called Hard Justice. It's got a Kickstarter campaign, and at the time of the recording, or by the time this airs, we'll have about 3 days left. So it's going to be time to get donations in and back it. I've already backed it myself because I saw it. It looks awesome. I'll post artwork up on the YouTube page under Superhero Deep Dive. Let me get my contact information out, and then we're going to get into the interview. You can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is www.un-con-ventional.com/radio. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram under Super Deep Dive. You can also catch me on YouTube, where it's the best place to catch me under Superhero Deep Dive. As of the time of the recording, I'm just shy of 1,000 subscribers. So comment, like, subscribe, share, put in requests. If you put in questions, I can forward them to Wesley with Hard Justice and get that to you. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. But yeah, I have Wesley Gift here. He's the creator of Hard Justice. The website for that is www.hardjusticecomic.com, and I will post links in the description. So yeah, how's it been going? You've been touring a lot.
Yeah, so when I launched this campaign, I wanted to get Hard Justice in front of as many people as possible. So for the first few weeks of March, I've literally been on the road traveling through Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, stopping at comic shops, toy shops, card shops, movie stores, and just being like, hey, I have this cool Kickstarter for a comic book called Hard Justice. You should check it out. If you love action movies, if you love video games, you'll definitely enjoy this comic book. So yeah, it's been a wild month just traveling all over talking about it.
That is amazing. I'm really stoked about it. Let me give a description from the flyer itself, which for some reason, oh wait, does it want to show? Zoom is weird. Okay, there it goes. All right. So, Hard Justice. When criminals rise up to take control of the city, two street-level dudes, Saint and Rex, decide to take matters into their own hands the hard way. That is a hell of a tag, because it definitely got me interested. So, outside of the flyer, what's the general premise? What can we expect?
What can you expect? So yeah, Saint and Rex are two guys. So Saint is a former cop. Now he's a private investigator. And Rex Sampson is his full name. He is just a practitioner of the martial arts. So they both live in this fictional city of Paradise Bay, Louisiana. And as you so well put, Jason, crime is rampant, running all over the city. And both Saint and Rex have both lost someone dear to them due to the influx of crime. So they decide, we've had enough of this. We're going to settle things our way with our fists. So they both want to solve this crime problem in their city, but they have two ways of going about it. And come to find out, the person that they're looking for is both the same guy. They're both looking for the same person. But in order to defeat this crime boss, they have to first learn how to work together if they're going to succeed at the end of the day.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the the Batman Superman movie where they're like, Martha, no, Martha, right. That's my mom too.
Exactly. We're right. Like, oh, we're actually on the same side.
There you go.
Want the same thing. So
awesome.
But I will spoil something. Their moms are not named Martha. So
you had me up until then. So I saw the artwork, which I'm going to post up on YouTube as well. Sure. But it's got this kind of like Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Double Dragon mix, which growing up I was a huge fan of Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2. Is that something similar, or is that is that the inspiration where you guys got the artwork from?
Sure, yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head when you mentioned Double Dragon. So the short pitch for Hard Justice is that it's Lethal Weapon meets Double Dragon. So But yeah, that was a huge inspiration into writing the story for me because I'm the writer. My artist is the phenomenal Bryce O'Quay. Bryce grew up playing the same video games I did, the classic side-scrolling beat 'em ups, and so I was influenced by those games to write the story, and then Bryce is influenced by those games to capture the fighting mechanics of those beat 'em up games into the art of Hard Justice. So you picked it right up.
Very nice. The side scroll and beat 'em ups are my favorite games.
Oh yes,
they were always so much fun to me.
And to this day, I mean, I am terrible at video games these days. I love just picking up a controller with two buttons and just mashing those two buttons to beat up everybody on the screen.
Yes, thank you, ROMs. So how did you come up with the characters? Like, what was the inspiration for this?
What was the inspiration? Good question. So, looking at action movies, Joseph St. Rains, I kind of borrowed from the blaxploitation film Black Dynamite, if you've seen that, which is a great phenomenal film that was made back in 2008, I believe. So it's fairly recent. And then Rex Sampson is heavily based on another movie called Kung Fury, which was actually a Kickstarter movie from 2015. Was a Kickstarter project from 2015. It well surpassed its goal, and it's free to watch on YouTube. If you haven't seen it and you've got 30 minutes to kill, look up Kung Fury on YouTube. But basically, that character was an inspiration for Rex Sampson. So you kind of have two martial artists, two crime fighters from two different worlds thrown together in Hard Justice.
Kung Fury was amazing. It was so awesomely bad. Like it was so good. It's one of those movies that if you do have a chance, please go watch it. Let the ads play on YouTube if they get revenue from it, because they deserve it. It's awesome.
Yes.
It's so cheesy and bad, but it's done on purpose. So it's all intentional. Okay. So here's a good question for you then. Where do you see this series expanding?
Oh, well, that's a very good question.
Do you see movies? Do you see video games? Do you see animated series? Like, where do you see this going?
Oh, expanding like that. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we're going to get into other expansions too, but for now, this is like the final thoughts I do on my normal podcast. I go into with the character work for movies, video games, whatever. Where do you see the character going?
Sure. So I'll tell you real quick. The Kickstarter is for issue 1. Bryce and I plan to do 5 issues of Hard Justice. Okay. And actually, if I could also sidebar really quick, for the Kickstarter, the money that we raise from this Kickstarter will go towards printing issue 1, shipping issue 1 to all the backers, and then everything else is going into producing issue 2, because we want to do 5 issues. Okay. Ultimately, once we have 5 single issues, we'll collect it in one single graphic novel. Now, where do we go from there? I mean, it would be pretty cool if somebody took, Joseph St. Rains and Rex Sampson and dropped them into, a video game that was just, screen after screen of bad guys coming across, and then the two of them have to beat those up. I could, it would be awesome to see this as a series, whether it be live action or animated. That would be cool to see the characters just come to life in a different medium, whether it be a TV series or a video game. That would be the ultimate goal.
And the royalties wouldn't be bad either.
Oh, of course not.
So animated series, I could definitely see just from the artwork. The animated series has this kind of like 90s cartoons, which were awesome.
Yes.
Like they were awesome because they could come on any time of the day and you'd be fine watching them. It wasn't like, Saturday morning cartoons had that special feel.
Right.
That they only really worked Saturday mornings.
Oh, of course.
But some of the 90s cartoons you could literally watch like at 4 p.m. and be fine. So this definitely has that feel. But let's say live action. Who are you casting? You're the creator. Who are you casting?
Oh my gosh. Who would I cast in a live action? Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I'll tell you what I would do.
We don't care if you know the names or not. Say what they're in. We'll figure it out from there.
Say what they're in.
And it has to be family friendly.
I think it would be cool, to be honest, Jason. I think it would be cool if you cast two up and coming, not so familiar people that Hard Justice could, launch their career to stardom.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who those two are, but I think it'd be fun to cast two lesser known, possibly no name actors to let this be a vehicle to launch their career. That's who I would cast.
Okay. Now here's a tough one for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah. It's a tough one. Okay. Let's say Netflix picks this up, and I'm using Netflix specifically because they have a reputation.
Yes, they do, Jason.
How important is casting to you? How important are the characters in relation to, and it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. But how are the characters, or how important are the characters in relation to their ethnic background, their race? Because like there are some, and I cover this a lot in my podcast, where there are some characters that it really doesn't matter what race they are. So I'll use characters that or actors or actresses that could be, African American for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed actress or character, because their race was never an issue. But there are some where race does actually play an issue because of maybe the time frame or the area, the character's background. And I've had discussions with viewers on it back and forth, and it's kind of like the general consensus is, if it's done where the character isn't the same race as they're depicted, it's got to be done well. Sure. Like the character has, I guess maybe the actor or actress has to work a little extra hard to portray that character, because it's not what we're used to seeing as comic book fans, because we're very visual people. We have comic books.
Sure.
So would that be a big deal for you? And if it is, that's fine. But back it up.
The short answer, Jason, is yes, it is a big deal, and I'll explain why. Because when I came up with the idea for Hard Justice, my initial thought was, I want a comic book story that will appeal to lots of different people. Right. And in my mind, I thought, if I want something to appeal to a lot of people, I need to include diverse characters. Okay. So, and if I'm going to have diverse characters, I need to do these characters justice, pun intended, to not enforce or use any sort of stereotypes associated with any particular race. Okay.
I love that. Okay.
So for example, Joseph St. Rains is African American. If this was to be live action, if Netflix picked this up, you can't change Joseph's ethnicity. It has to be an African American actor. Okay. Skin tone, whatever variation, I don't care, but it has to be African American. Okay, because as you learn in Hard Justice, there are certain challenges and experiences that African Americans have that we captured in the story. And I say we because viewers at home can't see. I am a white male, okay? And, as a writer, I don't feel comfortable telling stories through the African American lens, an Asian lens, a Hispanic lens by myself. So that's why Bryce, my artist, Bryce is a phenomenal artist. I wanted Bryce to draw this story because he is a phenomenal artist. Bryce also happens to be African American. So when I wrote the story and, pitched it to Bryce, I said, Bryce, I want you to be the artist. And I said, also, Bryce, I need your help in crafting this story to make sure that I don't do anything to upset an African American audience.
Sure.
We want to do the characters right. Back to your original question. Joseph St. Rains is African American, has to be played by an African American actor. Rex Sampson is white, he's Caucasian. He could be, I'd probably keep him white Caucasian, but nothing says that, a Hispanic character couldn't play that character, couldn't play the character Rex Sampson. But, really with Hard Justice in mind, there are specific characters of certain ethnic backgrounds that would have to stay, but then there's a lot of supporting characters and side characters and minor characters where I told Bryce, I said, just draw what you think is best. Sure. I'm not particular about the backgrounds or the ethnicities of these characters, but the main characters are kind of set in stone. But again, we want this to be a diverse world where the audience can see themselves being in this world as well.
Right. So what about the villain?
The villain. So the villain. Nobody's ever asked me about the villain. I'm so glad you asked me about this.
Yeah,
I'm
villain's a
willing to
big
talk
thing
about it.
because right now in our social climate, it's really hard to portray villains. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it.
Sure.
Like you have to be careful with them because you don't want them to be stereotypical. You don't want them to be, if they're a certain race, that's pronounced like, let's say, like if it's a mob, it's and they're Italian. You don't want them to be, over stereotypical Italian.
Right.
If it's African American, you don't want to play into the stereotypes. You want it to be, I guess, their race is a secondary factor.
Correct. But
we have to be real as well. If we're looking at the media, let's say this gets picked up, what are the first things people are looking for? They're looking at ways to pick it apart. So what about the villain?
Sure. So let me tell you as much as I can without spoiling anything.
Sure.
So the villain of issue 1 is a white man. He's a crime boss.
Mm-hmm.
But what we want to explore through all 5 issues of Hard Justice is that this is just one crime boss who's connected to a big web of criminal activity in Paradise Bay.
Okay.
And so yes, as we explore the world of Hard Justice, there will be other villains that we encounter. They will be villains of different ethnicities and races. And Bryce and I have already had discussions that, when we do, I will tell you this, eventually we will have a villain who is a black man, but we will not rely on stereotypes or common portrayals of African Americans in the media to create this character. We're going to create, our own villain that, still, doesn't rely on stereotypes to build that character. So we're going to be very careful in how we portray all these characters to where they're evil, they're bad, but it's not the stereotypical bad that we've encountered so much already. So we, and shout out to my editor, Sean Pryor. Sean Pryor is a prolific writer of graphic novels, comic books, young adult novels for middle school students. Sean also happens to be African American as well. So Sean is also helping us craft the story in a way where we can tell the story we want to tell, but we don't piss our audience off. Excuse me. We don't make our audience mad in the process.
You're fine. That's pissing people off is still family friendly. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. All right. So this is awesome. I love the fact that you're including diversity in it, and it doesn't matter what side they're on, good or bad.
Sure.
Because you're making that it sounds like really the only thing that's hard set in stone is Saint, right?
Sure.
As far as being African American. It sounds like everyone else is for the most part pretty malleable. But you're relying on his experiences, which makes it pertinent to the character.
Sure.
That's awesome because it's so hard nowadays. I can't imagine being a writer or an editor and having to do these characters. I mean, we're seeing it in comic books all over now where people want diversity, but they don't want new character diversity. They want like revamps of old characters, which makes it extremely hard to go with 20, 30, 40 years of history, and then trying to change stuff up. And it has not worked out well that I've seen, that I can think of at least.
Right. It's like there's, Chris Evans, for example, has hung up, Cap's helmet.
Right.
We have a Captain America, and now it's Sam Wilson, and some people will not accept the fact that Sam Wilson's Captain America now. I, for one, am excited about the new Captain America, where we have former Falcon, now new Cap, Sam Wilson as the character. That's exciting to me.
Yeah. Especially because that lineage, it's so diverse. Like as far as we have Cap, then we have Sam Wilson who gets upgraded, and then if you don't know, spoiler alert, but there's a Hispanic guy that takes over the Falcon.
You're right. That's right.
So there's a whole line of diversity in it, and I love it because that plays into the whole melting pot thing. And Falcon was always a big Captain America fan anyway, so it plays so much better than Bucky being Winter Soldier and then becoming Cap for a few issues.
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see here. So we talked about video games, we talked about animated series, possible actors, actresses. But let's talk about in-universe stuff, like with the comic.
Sure.
What would you like to add to the series? Are you looking at spin-offs, like possible backstories? Are there any universe tie-ins, things like that? Like, will we get little Easter eggs?
Ooh, good question. So I will say this. We do want to explore the backstories of some of these characters. So so I'll tell you this. Issue 2 is already, the script for issue 2 is already finalized. It's good to go. And we also want to include a backstory for Saint to go along with issue 2. So issue 2 will move the story along, but we're also going to give you I think it's an 8-page backstory about Saint, so we can explore his character a bit more. I've talked about 5 issues will be what we consider volume 1. Bryce and I are already, spinning the wheels about, what happens after volume 1? What happens if we fast forward 20 years and look at Saint and Rex in the future? So we've got some ideas of where we want to take it after issue 5, but I can tell you, we want to pack a lot into the first 5 issues. So, we've got backstories planned. We might lay Easter eggs in the first 5 issues for things to explore down the road. So yeah, this is going to be a deep dive into the hard justice world in these 5 issues. So we're definitely laying the groundwork for more things.
That's awesome. I love finding out, like, I don't know if you remember back in like the 80s and 90s. I don't know if they do it so much nowadays, but in Marvel Comics was big on it. Like, they would reference something and then you see a little Asterix. And in the bottom caption, it's like, this is from something from 1978.
Right.
I loved that. I used to love it because I would go try to find it at a comic shop just to see what they were talking about. Like, it just made it so much more fun.
Yeah.
And it made the universe a little bit more expansive.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something, Jason, because you've got the flyer in front of you. The flyer, that is the cover for issue 1. That's Bryce's cover. Now, you notice Saint has got his arm around a woman.
Yes. Okay. Let me see if I can put it up here.
Yes, right there. So I'll tell you this. When Bryce told me, he said, hey, I want to do the cover to be that cover is an homage to the box art of Double Dragon 2. Okay?
I thought so.
Yes.
I thought so.
And actually, if you can see this, the viewers at home won't see this.
Well, this is going on YouTube as well. So.
Oh, okay. So here, there's the Double Dragon.
Yes, perfect.
All right. So Bryce told me, he says, hey, I want to do an homage to Double Dragon 2. And I said, okay, cool. That's perfectly fine with me. And then he sent me the artwork. And I'm the type of writer that whatever I put in the story, it's very purposeful. It was there for a reason.
Right.
So when Bryce showed me the cover art and he has that woman, I thought, Saint has got her so close to him that this just can't be some random woman. There's got to be something going on between these two. So because Bryce did that, I was like, Bryce, you know what you just did? You created a brand new character. So this is a superhero deep dive exclusive.
All right.
This woman on the cover of issue 1, I don't have her full name in front of me, but that's Maya. And Maya is Puerto Rican Latina. She will show up in issue 2.
Very cool. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Thanks to Bryce, we have a brand new character. Yes, I haven't had a chance to talk about that. So you heard it first on Superhero Deep Dive.
Awesome.
Maya is on the cover of issue 1, but she won't show up until issue 2, and she's not just some random woman. She plays an integral part to the story. You'll find out in issue 2.
Okay. I was gonna ask about her, because Rex kind of looks like a third wheel in the cover. So, I was wondering if there might be some kind of triangle type thing.
I won't. We probably won't go too far into the triangle. Let's say, but I'll borrow that triangle word, not triangle, trifecta. There's kind of a hero trifecta going on in Hard Justice, and she's the third part.
Okay, that means she's got to have some kind of training. I knew those shoulders.
She's not a pushover by any means. So
awesome. Those shoulders are way too defined to just be a damsel in distress.
Right.
She's been working out. Oh my goodness. All right, so are there any other kind of like universe tie-ins? Like, is there something like I'm seeing if you're not watching on YouTube, you should check it out on YouTube. He's got Superman, Green Lantern, I believe that's Darkseid.
Yes.
I see Taskmaster back there.
Right.
I see Final Fight Arcade Cabin or Cabinet. I don't know what that is at the top. I want to say maybe Black Lightning, the DC Universe figure.
Oh, that is yellow. That's Yellow Lantern Scarecrow.
Oh, okay. See, that's a good one. So are there? So looks like there's maybe a little bit more DC fandom than Marvel.
Yeah.
Are there any kind of like DC Easter eggs or anything?
Ooh.
Little slogans or little tidbits that something might be said.
No, when I wrote it, I didn't even think about that. So there's no tie-ins or Easter eggs to other properties or anything. But
no trademark issues.
No trademark issues.
No copyright issues.
That might be fun to slip in somewhere if I can be crafty about it later. So I might have to play around with that.
I mean, even Tobey Maguire did it with the up and away web.
That's right.
So it's there. It's there. You can check it out for yourself. Everyone's got the DVD, whether they want it or not.
Right.
It's in everyone's collection. All right. So we've covered your traveling. You've got so many things going on. As of right now, as of the time of the recording, we have, out of the $4,000 goal, we're at $3,744.
$3,000 goal.
Okay, I thought you upped it to 4,000.
No, we set it at 3,000. Once you set it, you can't change it. So
okay,
the goal was 3,000.
Okay, good. So you've already surpassed the goal.
Yes.
I thought there was something at 4,000.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, cool. I was like, I know I saw the emails.
Yes. So our goal was 3,000. We met and surpassed that goal. Now that we've surpassed the goal, we're trying to unlock stretch goals. So those of you who aren't familiar, when a Kickstarter passes their goal, sometimes they offer additional rewards or perks that become unlocked when the campaign just keeps growing and growing and growing. So as of recording, we've unlocked 2 stretch goals. So the first one, the Hard Justice comic is 33 pages long. We're going to print 36 pages. So that means we got 3 extra pages. When the campaign closes, we are going to let our backers choose what they want to see on those extra 3 pages. We call it behind the scenes content. So Bryce has got character sketches he can drop in there. He's got, thumbnails of panel sketches he can drop. I've got script pages I can drop. So you can kind of see, this is a script I wrote and this is what Bryce took from that.
That's too cool. I love that, because Alex Ross did something like that.
Yeah. So we've unlocked 3 pages of bonus content. We're also going to give every single backer a indie comics digital bundle. So it'll be a collection of indie comics that some of them that I've created, other projects, stuff I've created, stuff Bryce has created. We've also got some other artists that are going to contribute to that indie comics bundle. So every backer will get that. Now, at $4,000, we are going to unlock a character sticker featuring Saint, who is really our main character, our main hero. But that unlocks 4,000, and we've got more goals planned beyond that. So yes, we're already funded, but if you find it in your heart to give us to pledge some money to be able to get Hard Justice yourself, you can help us unlock more and more stretch goals.
That is awesome. I'm actually looking forward to I got the digital copy because the physical copy wouldn't work well in my house. I have dogs and I have kids that don't respect things. So I'm looking forward to the digital copy. I'm actually running out of time here on Zoom. I just got a notice. So we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Okay.
But everyone, at the time this is going to be published, we'll have 3 days left for the last 256 dollars, which will be probably a lot less. I wouldn't be surprised if we were already over 4,000 by the time this airs. But everyone, check them out. It's www.hardjusticecomic.com. I think a $5 minimum backing will get you the digital copy, which is awesome. The artwork looks amazing. It looks like a lot of fun. So I'm very, like, genuinely excited. I'm not just like lip service excited. I'm genuinely excited to get into it. Wesley, is there any final words before I close out?
Jason, man, thank you so much for having me on the show. I love Superhero Deep Dive. It's a great way to explore and just learn about so many awesome and lesser known characters in the DC Marvel universe. Thank you for having me on, man. You really covered it well. hardjusticecomic.com. Check it out.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome talking to you. I actually look forward to communicating with you more after the offline.
Definitely. But we'll be in touch, man.
All right. But everyone, catch us on Twitter under Super Deep Dive, Instagram Super Deep Dive. Email me at b4all@yahoo.com. I'm on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. You can catch the link for hardjusticecomic.com. How can we reach out to you aside from hardjusticecomic.com, Wesley?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the handle @WesWritesStuff. Hit me up.
All right. That sounds perfect. In the meantime, guys, donate, back this Kickstarter. It's a really cool project. It's one of those ones that it's genuinely cool. But until then, guys, be blessed, be happy, be safe, be smart. And if you're not smart, don't get caught. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.